Erica Serwin here from Pinkbucker Designs. I have a pumpkin spice hot chocolate holder for you today with, look how cute, a little test tube of mini marshmallows. So as you can see, it's like a little booklet. You open it up and there's this pumpkin spice hot cocoa mix. I am all about pumpkin spice. When I find something pumpkin spice, I buy it. And I love to give it as a gift this time of year. So as you can see, it's like a card. This is the size of a card front, although this makes it a little bit bigger. And it's just really kind of like a wallet maybe, where you open it and you have enough room in there for both. Now, let me tell you about the hot chocolate. It is from Target. If you click on the link here on YouTube and go over to my blog, under the photo of this, you'll find the link to this at Target. I got it recently. I find Target has the best pumpkin spice things of all the stores that I visit. Now, the test tube, these are from Amazon. Many years ago, Stampin' Up! Had these test tubes in our paper pumpkin kits, and I became a full addict of all test tube things. So I love them. If you're looking for this is a perfect size. It's very, very similar to the ones that were in our paper pumpkin kits a few years ago. I have a link to that also on my blog. Now I'm using the small jet puffed marshmallow bits, and I'm just going to kind of fill it up. I probably should have done this before the video, so I'm going to make a mess. It'll make you feel better. When you make a mess with your test tube, you'll see, oh, Erica made a mess too. Now, of course, if you're going to give this as a gift, you want to wash your hands before you do this, and, make sure your area is clean. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, we've got our delicious hot cocoa gift ready. Let me tell you about the stamps. I actually use 3 different stamps. The cute little witch is from Flight of Fancy. The buffalo pattern is from the buffalo check background stamp, and the sentiment is from Ghoulish Goodies right there. Okay, well, let's make it. Why don't we? Let's make the holder first. Now, there's some measurements here, you guys. If you go over to my blog, under the last photo on that blog post, you'll find this PDF. It's free for everybody. Everything that I'm using, as well as the measurements that you're going to need, are there. So make sure you hop over there. There's 2 other projects on that post, all pumpkin related if you're looking for some more ideas. All right, this is a piece of Cajun Craze that is 5.5 by 10 1/4. We're going to score the long side at 4 1/4, 4 7/8. 7/8 is that one little tick mark right before 5, and then 5.5. Okay, now we're going to take it, fold it in half, and I'm going to make some marks just so that I know where to cut. Right over here on this side, I'm going to make a mark at 3 1/4. And 2 1/4. Okay, just like that. That's where I'm going to cut with my scissors or your trimmer, whichever you feel most comfortable with. I'm going to use my scissors. And of course, if you're using your trimmer, you probably don't even need to make those score marks because your trimmer has the measurements on it. So I'm just going to snip and snip. Now, this is going to pop out, and we're going to pop the other sides in. Okay, so I'm going to fold it like this, over and over. All right, now, once you pop that out like that, I want you to notice one side is bigger than the other. And if you put this in, if you put this in upside down like this, you're going to think, well, Erica, that doesn't work. That's way too long. But if you turn this like this, you'll see, because we're going to put adhesive right here, and that's going to lay down flat so that our card then meets the edge. Okay, so the back side is the larger section, if that makes sense. I confused myself there for a second, but it's right. All right, put some adhesive there and just fold that down like that. Okay, so now you can see how that's going to stand out like that, and you can slide that in. Now, I will say you can see it's not really totally loose. However, just to be safe, I like to take a glue dot and put it right there, just to hold it on. It's a little more secure, but it's easily pulled out. Okay, we're ready to decorate it. Now I'm going to use my favorite stamp of all time, the Buffalo Check background stamp. And I'm going to just use a giant piece of Whisper White. Actually, it's not giant. It's a half sheet. I like to make my piece oversized. That way I can use the magnets to hold it in place. I'm going to use Early Espresso ink, and I'm using my Stamparatus. I do not use my background stamps without my Stamparatus. It is a game changer with your background stamps, because when you use a background stamp, a lot of times when you lift it up, you'll see, oh, I didn't press hard enough right there, or there's something on my stamp, which is what's happening right here. So the beauty of that is you can take your ink pad, ink it up again, and it's in the right place for you to stamp it all over again to get a more solid image. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, now we've got to take our trimmer and we're going to cut that down to 3 3/4 by 5. All right, so 3 3/4 by 5. I'm just going to cut off the first 2 sides there, and then I'll measure. Okay, so 5 inches long and 3 3/4 inches wide. All right. Oh, my inks are still a little bit wet. Okay, now we're going to adhere that onto a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock that is just a little bit larger, 4 by 5 1/4. And then that's going to go onto the front of our little card. Okay. All right. Now for that cute little witch. I can't believe I haven't used her yet this year. That stamp set is so adorable. We're going to stamp her twice. And we're going to stamp her on this stitched rectangle. The stitched rectangle is going to fit just perfectly on there, on our card. See how it just fits perfectly? However, you can see she's a pretty big stamp. So when I stamp her, she's going to be off the edge, up on the top. That's okay. We're going to do something special so that her hat sticks off the edge. So I'm going to stamp her in Memento Black on that Whisper White rectangle. And then I'm going to stamp her again, specifically her hat, right there on another piece of Whisper White. Okay, so now we're going to color her with Stampin' Blends. Because I knew I was going to color her with Stampin' Blends, I used a water-based ink. When you are coloring with alcohol markers, you want to make sure that you color, that you stamp with water-based ink. And the opposite is true. If you're using a water-based marker or ink, then you need to stamp in a alcohol-based marker or ink so that your color doesn't run. If I were to stamp with an alcohol ink and try to color with an alcohol marker, it would smudge and be all yucky and muddy. And if you were to do the opposite, to watercolor, a watercolor marker and a watercolor ink, you would then have a mess. It would just bleed all over the place. All right, so I did her little dress in pumpkin pie. I'm going to do the broom here in soft suede. This is a really easy image to color. I am going to do our little mouse in smoky slate. Now her face in Petal Pink Light. You can, of course, do her in any skin tone that you want. Now, for her hat and the moon, I'm going to take basic black. I'm not even going to worry about over here because we're going to cut this one out and we are going to piece it onto that one. Now, I'm using a basic black Stampin' Blend, and if you've ever used a basic black Stampin' Blend, you know that it is very dark. So this is the light basic black. I love that. It's super intense color. So when you need a super intense dark color, you definitely want to use the basic black. Okay, one more. Mango Melody. Kind of an orange yellow moon. Okay, so now let's get some dimensionals. And I'm just going to do 3 right across the bottom there. Put our cute little witch. Now we're going to fussy cut. Don't worry, it's really pretty easy. I'm going to cut just around her hat. I'm not going to worry about that thing on the top. There's no way I could cut that out reasonably. So we're just going to leave it off, okay? So cut out the hat and then the moon. And use a small pair of scissors, you guys. If you try to do this with a large pair of scissors, you're going to be frustrated. Don't use a large pair. Use the small, sharp pair. These are our snips, our paper snips that Stampin' Up! Makes. And if you don't have them, I highly recommend you add them onto your next order. They're only 10 bucks, and they're a great investment. Okay, so now I'm just going to take that hat, a little glue dot, and put it right there. Okay, see how it pokes off the top? And same with the moon, right there. Whoops, I didn't get my glue dot. There we go. Tombow would be fine too. There we go, how cute is she? Okay, now that sentiment and the pumpkin spice. You know, you could make a pocket, but I just decided to go easy and just do a little bit of adhesive, stick that right on there. Let's keep it simple. Now I've got a piece of Whisper White. I'm going to stamp that sentiment in Pumpkin Pie, just right in the middle. It's not a trick, it's just a treat. Cute, right? This would be a fun treat for an adult or kids. I know my kids love hot chocolate. So maybe something non-candy related. Okay, so there you have it. See how that closes? One last thing, you guys. Let's add a bow. I mean, the bow just kind of takes it to another level. So cute. This is our glitter, black glitter ribbon. This screams Halloween to me, this glittery ribbon. And I'm going to just use a glue dot to add it to the top of our little test tube. Just like that. And there you have it. What a fun treat. I know this would be something unique and different to give out at Halloween, and I think that your friends would really enjoy it. Now hop over to my blog, grab that PDF. It's free. You'll have the measurements and the products and the link to the test tube and the hot chocolate. You guys have a great Halloween. Bye-bye.